Homeowner Association and Association fees. Well, that was a mouthful. I had a hard time saying that. But what do they cover and what neighborhoods are they in? Well, there's a different question for all of those. Again, the community that I live in is called Palm Air. It's a non-gated. You don't have to belong to the country club or anything. Our HOA fees are around $480 a year. What that does, I'm not really sure because, again, we're not gated. It doesn't pay for your yard work. It doesn't get you any amenities whatsoever, but around $480 a year. Now, you can move over to like a Lakewood Ranch 55 plus community. Your HOA fees are going to be about $350 a month, whether you're a snowbird or you're living here. It's 12 months a year. So $350 a month. What's that going to get you? Gated security, all of your yard work, and the use of all the amenities within that particular community. Now, if you're at Del Webb, you can't get in your car, drive over to Esplanade and use their amenities, or over to Cresswin. Now, if you have friends that live there and they invite you over, that's a different thing. But your HOA fees cover your particular community. Now, you can move over to communities. An example is Cresswin, where they're going to throw in your cable and your internet in with your HOA fees. So their HOA fees jump up a little bit. I think they're around $380 a month. But again, gated security, use of the clubhouse and all the amenities, and all of your yard work is done for you. So when you're a snowbird, that's going to be important because you're not going to be here during rainy season when it's hot, and there's going to be somebody maintaining the yard for you. So that's a very, very good thing. You can move over to an Esplanade community where they've got crazy amenities. And they're going to have two different HOA fees. They're going to have one that's tied to golfing and one that's not tied to golfing. So the lot that you decide to build a home on, or if you bought a resale in there, it would either be tied to golfing or not tied to golfing. So then we have deed restrictions that go with those particular communities, what you can and cannot do. I always use the example as a joke. In an HOA community where you have the HOA fees and restrictions, you're not going to see Cousin Eddie parked in his RV out in your front yard. You're not going to have somebody storing their boat in the driveway. Some of the communities will say you can't have a motorcycle, loud motorcycle, also known as a Harley, in this community. So you're going to want to check those restrictions, because if you obviously have a beautiful Harley and you want to pull it into the neighborhood, that could be a big issue. But HOA fees, there's different rules for each particular community. Everything is deed restricted. They'll tell you whether you can have a fence or you can't have a fence. And if you can have a fence, what kind of fence can you have? I will tell you, these communities in Lakewood Ranch, very, very, very few will allow you to have a privacy fence in your backyard, because you're not going to be able to block the view if you're on a lake or preserve of your neighbor of any angle. So typically they're the black wrought iron type fences. That's what you'll be able to have for sure. But that's about it for HOA fees. There are communities all over the place around here that have no HOA fees. There's some that are in Lakewood Ranch, like your yearly HOA fee is like $100. You don't get anything then. You're not in a gated community. You don't have a clubhouse or anything like that. And you're responsible for doing your own yard work. Now, for me, my yard guy, he's $120 a month. To go to the gym, it's $100 a month. I'm not in a gated community. If I was, I'd be willing to make up the difference for that. So it's just some things to think about. And again, if you're a snowbird, those fees go all year round. But that can be a very, very good thing, because everything is maintained beautifully, and make sure that the whole community, the roads, landscaping, everything is taken care of, this pristine.